Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right. We are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, April 16th, 2020. And you can find this. Nick has the coronavirus, and he's back podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am, of course, at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern. That's NickVern. In this week's episode, we have a returning guest, Sith Lord Britt. Woo!
Hey guys.
Boop, 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 boop.
Britt's a Twitch streamer and someone that we met at the Cantina last October, and just an awesome SWTOR friend.
Wait. And she has the donut connection.
Oh, that's true. The donut connection. So I know none of our listeners have heard her on our show before, but we did do an amazing recording of an episode a couple of months ago that the software got screwed up for, so we lost all of the audio for it. But without further ado, welcome to the show today, Britt. And
Thank you so much.
And what have you been up to?
Well, living here in New York, of course, we've been on lockdown a little bit longer than most of our friends around the rest of the country.
Yes, that is ground zero.
Which has its pluses and minuses, but we're gonna try to focus on the pluses this time. Got a lot of gameplay done. Got a lot of home projects done. A lot more time with my kids and my husband, which is really nice.
That's sweet.
Have you guys been in full quarantine, some quarantine, guys going for walks in the park? Like, how's New York City quarantine? Is it like stay in your apartment, don't move, and have all your food and everything delivered? Or is it like we still have our food delivered, still have all that, but we can still get out and go for walks just to like clear our heads?
You can go outside. I haven't been outside in 2 days. I had a really rough day last week, and my husband kind of noticed, you know how your partner, you kind of look at them and you're just like, I think you need a minute to yourself. And he kind of saw me breaking down, was like, you go take a walk for yourself. And the second I got outside, some guy stumbles off of the bus and asked me for some money. But when he did that, he spit on me. And I had my mask on, I had my alcohol pads in my pocket, and I just was like, I was already emotionally just ready to have a walk by myself. That happened. I had to turn right back home and take another shower with some more Dial soap and Purell everything on my body.
I bet.
Yeah, I would too.
So like, you can go outside. No one's, the cops aren't telling you to turn around and go inside. To be honest with you, like, I mean, I know that we're not exactly known for being super hospitable, but we really do, like, when it comes down to stuff that matters, we look out for each other. I'm inside of a building that's completely enclosed, so our neighbors, even walking around inside of the building, are wearing their masks, and when you're not, they kind of look at you like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, like, I don't want to judge you, but I'm kind of judging you right now.
Yeah.
Because they just want to look out for each other. They all understand it's not, this isn't for me, this is for everyone else. And just, it's been nice to see a lot of people looking out for our elderly neighbors, people kind of hunkering down together, and families that had gotten together before it got really bad. But like I said, we kind of started to do things when they were voluntary as opposed to when they were mandated. So I feel like this has been an eternity, but I'd rather play it safe since I have two little ones. But it's the little things, just taking care of our mental health along the way and doing the little things that make us feel like life is normal, like taking walks. Instead of going outside and going around the park, we might just walk around our own building or do exercises up and down the stairs just to get that energy out, but we haven't actually left the building. Or we like to prop the windows open, especially around 7 o'clock every night. Everyone in the entire city starts cheering out of their windows for the healthcare workers, a 7 o'clock cheer. You guys might
Oh, that's pretty
videos.
cool.
Yeah, you might
Yeah.
see some videos on it on social media. It's real, and it's really beautiful because we have a couple of professional musicians on our block. So we actually have a trumpeter that stands out on the corner at 7 o'clock and starts playing when the Saints go marching in. It's really sweet.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. You
Yeah.
should try to get that on video.
I say, well, he goes out there and he plays it every single day, and every single day all the neighbors are like, encore, encore, and he's like, no, pay me. It's great. So it yeah, we're kind of just people are cheering each other on and looking out for each other. It's weird, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. You know, like we still have power, we still have food delivery. We got Chipotle delivered tonight, so it's not, you know, thank God for that. At least I have a Chipotle. But we're doing okay. So we're just doing the little things, you know, just doing the things that we love the most, making sure that we keep in touch with the people we love the most, and keep things lighthearted and fun.
Well, that's awesome that you're making
Yeah,
the
I
best
can
of it.
understand. Yeah, for sure. Because, you know, in New York, I would imagine the whole lifestyle of New York is being on the go.
It is. Yeah, it is kind of awkward to not leave the house, even if it's just for a little something. You run across the street, let me go down to the bodega, let me go get this, let me go pick up the laundry or whatever. You get out of the house for something every day. So to not do it at all, it almost feels like, you know, when you've forgotten something on your calendar, but you can't remember what it was, it kind of feels like that. Like, what did I forget to do? Oh, yeah, I didn't leave my house. I'm not supposed to. And we're used to walking everywhere. I can't tell you the last time I got on the subway or a bus. I certainly wouldn't do it right now. But I can't even remember the last time I did that, and that's so strange. So I can't wait for things to go back to normal. But you know, like I said, this isn't the worst thing. Now, if I had no power, this might be a little bit more of a struggle.
Oh yeah, that would be devastating.
Could you imagine? Exactly. So we still
No,
have,
I can't imagine that.
we still have gas and power, and our Wi-Fi is good, and
Right.
I really can't complain too much.
Well, you know, Netflix's stock went above Disney's, and that says something.
Wow.
And that's, you know, in Europe, I think they're slowing down data because so much bandwidth is going out.
Just all people streaming stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what have you been doing in games?
So in games, because I do play multiple games.
Right.
So
As do we.
Yeah, exactly. Like you guys, I have phases, I have favorites, I have things I return to. I grew up as a PC and a console player, and right now my MMO is Star Wars: The Old Republic, along with you guys. And what I've been working on is our Stronghold contest coming up. We actually have one coming up at the end of April.
What's the date of it?
It's going to be April 30th.
What time?
8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Oh, you don't even have to say that. You just got to say real world time.
That's right. I forgot you guys are with me.
Exactly. And what server? Oh, this is the best part.
So for entries, you have to be on a North American server, unfortunately, just because all of the judges we have either our main or our alts are on Starforge and Satil Shan. So the entries have to be on one of those two servers.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. Usually it's just on one server, but that's...
Yeah, either or.
Wow, so, that's pretty cool.
If you guys, of course, know the lovely Kogus and Lady Ran have been my two go-to judges. We kind of thought for a time, oh, we'll mix it up and we'll throw in a couple other friends. And just by circumstance, they continue to come back. And I think they're so great together, and I love having them. They're great friends and they're hilarious to begin with. And they'll be returning as our guest judges for the Yavin 4 Stronghold contest, which we'll be giving out prizes for.
That is sweet. Well, when you talk to them again, just tell them how you prefer a soft taco over a hard taco, and then they just will go bananas. It's hilarious to hear them go to town about when you have taco talk.
I'm gonna make a note of that. Absolutely.
Oh no! You should definitely do it, and do it while you're on the stream.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, just go soft tacos or hard tacos, and I promise it will be stream gold.
Well, is it like one of those? Someone
It's
bringing out
those two.
pineapple pizza and stream?
No, it's more of like their inside joke that they talked about when they were on their show.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we still don't really know what it's about, but they go like bananas about it. It's actually comical. So
they're funny to begin with, so I can't wait to hear
yeah,
what
they're
they
like
say.
two peas in a pod.
They are.
Yeah, out of nowhere, and they just go on and on. Well, you know, and it's very funny. Those two,
Mhm.
it's like the Rand and Koga show. They should do a podcast. Can you imagine that podcast?
No,
I would sub to that.
I would.
Me too.
I would too. But anyhow,
So tell us the dates one more time.
It's going to be April the 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. If anyone's interested in submitting their Yavin 4 Stronghold, it must be your stronghold on your account. You can't submit for someone else. You don't have to physically be there when we do it, but it does have to be listed as public so that we have access to it. Or if you want to be there and you'd rather not list it as public, if you just want to group up and do an invite, you do have to be there when it's actually happening. So you have that choice. But it does have to be your account. And we will be giving a subcode for the first prize to the best, most, I'm not even going to say most interesting, just the favorite overall Yavin 4 Stronghold and how it's set up, how it's decorated. So, the world is your oyster. I've seen people in the RP community come out and show like a really functional space that someone would actually use. And then we've had some more creative things where like people would use some of the stronghold decorations, not what they were actually used for, but they would flip them upside down or use the backside of it instead and put 8 of them together so you only saw certain things and they would overlap them. People just got so creative with these. And it's a lot of fun to watch and see what other people come up with, because sometimes I get in a rut putting my strongholds together. And it's really neat to see how other people's brains work and use these really bizarre and fun decorations within the game. But
sure.
That'll be April 30th.
Awesome. And it's on both servers. My strongholds are full of chairs.
As long as it's not meat trees, we can still be friends. If you fill that stronghold full of meat trees, I'm sorry. We'll have to end the podcast right here.
No, it's just chairs. It's chairs, tithe.
Hate that
chairs, tithe,
so much. Basic chairs and basic couches, like whatever, I'm down. If you like put them in a pattern, turn them all 45 degrees, whatever. Just please don't fill up the whole stronghold with meat trees. There's always one person who's like, I don't know why it doesn't lose its charm for them. They're always like, someone's going to submit a stronghold with nothing but meat trees. If I could burn it to the ground, I would. You guys, please don't do it to me. I hate the meat trees. Why? Why? Why is it
I don't know.
It's not sanitary. I can't even really tell you what it is. I just can't handle the meat trees. So as long as it's not that, we're cool.
all right, that's
all
a
right.
pretty easy rule to follow.
And
right?
so do you play? What is your other main game that you play?
My other main game, you guys, is Minecraft. I am super late to the game. I'm aware. I know. I'm not the cool kid that was, in the beta. No, I came to it years later. Actually, my stepkids were the ones who were like, hey, Britt, we feel like you would really enjoy Minecraft. So I download it, I bought it, and I start playing it, and they show me, I think I even might have streamed like my first night playing it. I had all these really, it's probably embarrassing now to look back at all the ridiculous questions I had, because, learning a new game is a lot. And they taught me how to play it. I think they were visiting us for a couple of days. And at the end of the week, I was like, okay, so we're going to get on on a realm together or on a server together and play. And they're like, oh no, we don't play Minecraft anymore. We're into Roblox.
I don't even know what Roblox is.
They're like, yeah, you should totally download Roblox. And I was like, didn't I just go through this whole bit with Minecraft so we could play together? Because that's one way that we keep in touch with them. when they're at their mom's house is to play video games or to stream movies together and watch them together, or to play MMOs. So Minecraft, yeah, they kind of got me into it, and I fell in love with it. I just became addicted to it. It's so calming for me. I love the simplicity of it. It can be difficult if you want to make it difficult, or it can just be, creative mode. I do everything in survival mode.
Oh, so you do not play creator mode?
No, I mean, I've been on a creative server. I actually recreated one of my SWTOR strongholds within Minecraft. And that was a lot of fun. That took actually was a lot quicker than I thought it would go. But I do all of my builds and stuff in survival mode. I like to get the material. There's something about like working for it yourself that just makes it a little bit.
But at night you have to like hide because you can die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the server that I'm on, my primary server, is run by probably one of the nicest guys in game ever. And he is a big fan of Hermitcraft. Well, him and most everyone else who's on the server. So he likes to run the server with a lot of the tweaks that the hermits use. If you guys ever follow Hermitcraft on YouTube, they're popular.
I don't know what
YouTubers.
that is.
They're just popular YouTubers who put out their videos. Like they each do it in episodes. They create this world together. They have like mini games that they put together with each other. It's a community. Everyone kind of has their own kind of builds that they like to do or that they prefer to do. And it's really cool. So at the end of the season, like they'll just burn the place down to the ground and they'll start fresh next season. They'll put in a new seed and start a new world and invite new friends. And then they make YouTube videos out of it and put them out. So you kind of like find your favorite Minecrafters and follow them on YouTube and kind of keep up with them weekly. It's really cute. I'm into it. I like it. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
I love it. It's just like I said, life is complicated and heavy, and sometimes you just want it to be a little bit more simple. You just want the rules to be a little bit less complicated, and I find that kind of comfort in playing Minecraft. I really do. I have this really dorky smile on my face right now because the amount I play is probably not. It's probably not normal.
So a couple of years ago, it's got to be a couple of years ago, I started to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to Nick. Do you remember where I was going? Was I going to Disney?
I thought it was Rhode Island or something.
Yeah, I was going somewhere for a week.
For vacation.
For vacation. I don't know if it was Disney. It could be any of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I wasn't going to have my computer. So I went and bought all the 4 or 5 Minecraft books that like teach you how to play the game and to get like prepared. And I read them cover to cover. But then when I came back to start playing it, I'd still just get demolished. Like I don't think the whole crafting thing is for me.
What do you mean? You just can't build stuff and keep it built?
Yeah, I think it's because of my job. Like I build stuff for a living. So like when they're telling me I have to go find some rocks and then I have to chop down a tree and then I have to find a green leaf and then that'll make me an axe. And I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just dig with my hand like I was a kid, and then I find the orange colored dirt and I think it's exactly. And then I think it's peanut butter and I eat it. You know what I mean? So so I do get it. And I did love it. Is there anything else you've been doing?
So every year we attend New York City Comic-Con as a family, and we do one day where we kind of go in our comfy clothes, like the clothes that you'd take the kids to Disney in, the comfy sneakers, and the backpack's completely empty, and water bottles, and just spend the whole day, whatever the first day is that we go to Comic-Con, just looking at everything we want to look at, going through real slow, taking photos with as many people as we possibly can. And then the second day that we go to Comic-Con, we do our cosplay. And then that's kind of a day just to putz around, and it's more relaxed, more like hang out and talk to other people and be social. Whereas it's more like shopping and searching and treasure hunting on the first day. So cosplay is a big part of our year. We look forward to doing that at Comic-Con. and I've been
And
working
then
on my 2 builds.
Awesome. And then the Friday night of Comic-Con, you come to the New York City Cantina.
We do. That's a huge part of our year as well, because that was we got married the day after the Cantina, I guess 5 years ago now. So the night before our wedding anniversary, that's always how we go out and celebrate, is by going to the SWTOR Cantina.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's cute. It was a big part of our dating life, so I thought that it was just fitting that it landed on that weekend.
Right. Nick, what have you been up to? Well, I was going to say this week, but
It's been
you
a
know,
couple weeks.
so there's been many. Oh, step over it.
Sounds
Can
like
you say hi to everybody? Say hi to Nick, Julia. Julia, say hi to Nick, please. Come on the show. Just say hi to Nick.
hi,
Oh,
Julia.
come on. Can you hear him?
How-
So go ahead, Nick. Here, I'll put the headphones on her.
Oh, okay. So, as many of you know, last week I was too exhausted after work to record on the show. So that was a Thursday, April 2nd. Well, now, and Dr. SWTOR graciously stepped in, like the stand-up gentleman that he is. Well, now we know why I was so tired. It's because I woke up the next morning with a fever, insane body aches, and a sore throat. And since I work at the hospital, I had to get tested for COVID, of course, and it turns out I was positive. So I would love to say that I had a nice mild case and I played tons and tons of video games, and it was a lovely 2 weeks, but it was really quite awful. My family was fantastic in helping me stay in isolation. Basically, I would stay in my bedroom or go over to this one bathroom that we have down the hall with a mask on. And for the most part, they would just leave me things on a table right outside my room.
Good night.
Hi, Julia. Good night, Julia.
Hi. Hi.
Watch your feet.
I'm glad you worked up the courage to say hi.
That's awesome. Good job, Julia.
Good job, Julia. I'm clapping, but I don't know if you can hear it.
May the force be with you, okay? See you in the morning.
I love the I love the may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. I love you. I know. So Nick, I'm backtracking a little bit because I was trying to get Julia to talk because she wanted to, and she was being shy. So
Yeah,
anyway,
it's all good. I was just reading my notes.
So yeah. So you totally watch out. So you totally were locked in your room, and I saw the picture of your mom, and she was in full like protective gear.
Yeah.
With Lysol wipes like everywhere you could go.
Yeah, good for her.
So my mom's a nurse, in case people didn't know that. She has this like prep kit for I don't remember. I forget the official name for it, but it's like the Medical Reserve Corps or something like that. Basically, it's like in case we had like a super mega emergency and like there was rioting in the streets or like an earthquake or something, you could get activated, and you have like a kit basically. It's like this backpack. So in the backpack they had, of course, that she's had for like probably 10 years now. They had N95 masks and gloves and a full bodysuit and like a head covering and things like that. So she, of course, when I woke up that Friday morning with a fever, I texted my family, "Hey, like I have a fever, like don't, blah blah blah. I'm not coming out of my room.
Stay away."
Yeah, I'm not coming out of my room. And she was like, "Okay, like I'll give you stuff with all my stuff on." So she suited up, and of course I took that video, but which was funny. But so yeah, they were great. So they gave me my PS4 from the basement. I have that. I had a TV anyway that I just had in my closet that Marcus gave me actually. So I had that all set up in here, plus my gaming laptop that I got recently. All set up for entertainment, and then I didn't really use it too much because I was so tired. Basically, the worst part, besides the coughing that eventually came, was how low my energy levels were, and they're still pretty low now. So I don't know if you know, but like listeners, medically speaking, when your body's fighting something serious, it diverts all of its energy to fighting, in this case, the virus. So my appetite was really minimal. And that happens because your body doesn't want to waste energy digesting the food. So it's oftentimes not worth like having to digest like a big piece of protein or fat or something like that. it would rather just divert that energy to fighting something. So my appetite was terrible, and I actually I've lost 20 pounds in the 2 weeks that I've been fighting this thing.
So I want to tell you that's fantastic, but I instantly feel terrible if I do that.
Well, it's like the world's worst diet routine. You know what I mean?
Say the most unhealthy way to drop that much weight.
Exactly. Yeah, but I guess I'll take it as long as I can keep it off. So basically, the energy levels were the major limiting thing that would prevent me from doing stuff. Oftentimes, I'd be even too tired to play a game. Just the mental energy was too much. And even still, like today, I'm feeling way better today. The past few days, I don't have a fever anymore. Going on day 6 now, of no fever, I should say. This is day 14 total of symptoms, but my coughing's pretty minimal, so I'm really like on the uptrend, but my energy's terrible. Like I drove 15 minutes to Moe's today to do their curbside pickup just to kind of get out of the house, and because I'm not contagious anymore. I was wearing a mask still and everything, but I was trying to just do some things, and even just that 15-minute drive there and back was like really taxing, like mentally, and just all that energy just took a lot out of me, and I came home and slept for 2 hours afterwards. But so my energy level's been really the biggest limiting thing for me at being able to do stuff. Before I move on to more positive things that I got done while I was in quarantine, I will say there's this video. I don't know if folks have seen it. If you get COVID, there's this breathing exercise that helped me a ton from this doctor in the UK. If you just look up UK doctor breathing exercise, it'll pop up. But basically, that's not to necessarily help you with COVID, but it's to help you prevent you from getting pneumonia, which is what's like really killing people. So the virus will attack your lungs. It'll make your immune system really weak because your immune system's trying to fight the virus that's attacking your lung tissue, and then you secondarily get a bacterial infection that prevents certain chunks of your lungs from working properly. That's called pneumonia. So this breathing exercise really helped me a lot, and I coughed up a lot of basically blood that was from the virus attacking my lungs. But that breathing exercise helped me a lot and helped me breathe properly when I was like super, super sick in like the worst spots. So definitely check that out if you can. So in positive things, did you guys want to comment on anything? I don't know if I
was gonna say that's really good knowledge to have. I mean, just people that have respiratory issues anyway, or anyone that gets admitted to the hospital for anything, that's always a concern for patients that go inpatient, or those secondary issues that they'll get, or viruses or infections that they'll catch while they're in the hospital from other patients. And while it doesn't sound super exciting, it really is good knowledge to have. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I can just run us through it real quick. It's not too complicated. So one of the big things is laying on your back is terrible. I guess you have a ton of lung tissue sort of more towards the back of your chest cavity there. So when you lay on your back, it all gets squished and none of those openings get used. So trying to stay on your side, or ideally on your stomach, is the best for sure. And then, so the breathing exercise goes like this, where you take as deep a breath as you can and hold it in for 5 seconds.
We're so doing this right now. Are you doing this with us, Marcus?
Yeah, we can do it together.
I'm definitely not doing this because I really don't want to be hacking.
It will. If you have any junk in there, it'll make you cough a lot. So I'm not going to do it right this second for fear of having a coughing attack, but feel free to if you want.
I'll do it while you explain it.
Okay, so I'll send you the video link after. Basically, you take a deep breath in, hold it for 5 seconds, then let it out normally, and then do that 5 times. Then on the 6th time, hold it in again for 5 seconds. Instead of just breathing out normally, take that really big breath that you've held in for 5 seconds and cough as hard as you can. So then you do 2 rounds of that. So 2 rounds of 5, plus on the 6th, you cough. And then, sort of catch your breath a little bit because you might be lightheaded after holding your breath, for 5 seconds apiece. Then after, do it a second time, cough. And usually on the second one, I would cough stuff up, like substantially, and then be coughing a little bit after. And then after they say to lay on your stomach and breathe a little bit deeper than you normally would for the next 10 minutes. So when I'd be laying there on my stomach, just breathing like that, then I'd cough more stuff up too. So in my case,
Bleh.
it was like rust colored. So they say that that's what,
Bleh.
like dried blood
Bleh.
turns. Yeah.
Bleh.
And that was my essentially dead lung tissue from the virus killing it. That I was coughing up. So for me, I didn't ever have like a pneumonia type of thing going on. But if you're getting like green colors or like funky sort of yellows and things like that, that they say that that's like a, when you've got some little more bacterial going on. But
Bleh.
I think it's funny that that's the noise he's making, considering you're a father. You've seen some of the worst stuff.
I know.
Not yet, but you're gonna hear all about it very soon.
I
and
was gonna
it's
say, I'm sure
tragic.
you've seen plenty of poopy diapers. That gets me way worse than like lung stuff.
No way, dude. Like, I got kids, bro. It's toilet talk 24/7.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
that's
good
true.
with poop. Poop is, my kids think burping and farting is the funniest thing on the planet.
Well, I mean, they're
And I'm
right,
like, how do you?
but
Yeah,
It is funny.
I'll say, for those of you who don't know, Marks and I both have kids that are the same age. Both.
Yeah, and it's comedy. We just have opposites. Your boy is the same age as my girl, and my son is the same age as your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Anyway,
It's
Nick.
great.
So all this depressing, coughing up rust. Bleh,
I've got
stuff.
positivity to talk about too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did you? I know you didn't play games for a week because so FYI, I was like a little Sally. I would text Nick like 3 times a day to make sure he was doing okay.
Yeah,
And then if he didn't, and if he didn't respond to me, and like I would give him like 6 hours, I'm like, dude, are you home? Are you in the hospital? Are you okay? He's like, dude, stop being so sensitive. I'm effing fine. I'm sleeping. You're more worried about me than I'm worried about myself. And I'm like,
gosh.
well, geez, like, sorry for caring.
I thought you were
Anyway.
gonna say you texted his mom to be like, will you go check on him in the other
Well,
room?
so one day I did, because I texted him at like 9 a.m, and I didn't hear back from him, and it was like 7:00 at night. And I was like, and I texted him again, and I'm like, this jerk face is ignoring me on purpose because he knows I'm freaking out. So I texted his dad, and his dad's like, he's fine. He's just tired. Suck it up, Marcus. I'm like, that you son of a bitch. Yeah, and you're probably sitting next to him, or you were talking to him. Oh, Marcus just texted me. Don't text him and tell him I'm okay. But
Don't
anyway,
tell him anything. No, we just need to
So
get
Nick-
like a Nick nanny cam next time.
Right.
We can put a nanny cam on him, and Marcus can keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we needed like a Nick live stream.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that would be funny.
It would be,
But
it would
Nick,
be a lot of sleeping.
please tell me that you've been doing something fun.
Oh yeah, so
through all this.
all right, so I think when I started quarantine, I was on season 4 of Clone Wars, and now I'm completely caught up. I powered through season 5, season 6, and I think episodes 1 through 8 of season 7, which is all that's out currently.
Mhm.
So because that was my go-to show when I was too tired to like play a video game. So I've just cranked through all of I'm up to speed with the Clone Wars. And I started watching Rebels, and I gotta say, season 1's like, it's okay. It's a lot of like developing the characters so you know who they are and things. But by the end of season 1, it gets so much better than Clone Wars. It's not even funny. And then into season 2 of Rebels, it's like it's just cranking along, and it's like found its lane to get in, because most of season 1 sort of just developing those characters, and then by the end of season 1, the last few episodes, now they're like in the thick of things and doing all kinds of interesting stuff that I don't want to spoil. But it's way worth the watch, is all I'll say. And when I did have enough energy, I did sometimes I could play video games. So I ended up playing a fair bit of Call of Duty, because it's easy to just hop on, play a little bit, and then go back to napping. I've been using the M14, which is like a semi-auto gun. It's just not something I'd usually go for, but it's pretty fun because sometimes you can one-shot people at certain ranges. So it's sweet to have somebody shooting at you a whole bunch, and then just boom, one shot, and then they're dead. It's very satisfying. Outside of that, when I first got sick, I think on that Friday, I bought both. I think that Friday is when Doom came out. So Doom Eternal, I should say. So I bought, but I never actually played through Doom 2016, so I bought them both. I think Doom 2016 was like $20 or something, or maybe even less, like 15. So I bought that, and I bought Doom Eternal with the intentions of playing through both while I was in quarantine, and that didn't quite work out the way I planned. But I did get through half of Doom 2016, and I gotta say, I really enjoy. There's like an aspect of the game that I didn't really think about when I bought them. When I bought them, I just thought, oh, cool, we're gonna go kill everything. It's gonna be great. It's like, sort of Call of Duty on steroids or something. And it's not really, I like that, obviously, but it's not why I'm loving it. I'm really loving it because of how empowering like the messages are. So, which caught me off guard. Most video games, Call of Duty, I don't know, Uncharted, any of the Fallout games, any of the Star Wars games, you're like the underdog that does all these crazy things against all odds, right? So like you sort of struggle to do the things, and you get it done against everything working against you. And that's how most games are, and sort of most stories are. But Doom is different. In Doom, it basically says, oh, I know we're gonna go kill all the demons, just go get the ammo and do it, because you're the man. You already start out as the Doom Slayer, the most badass being to ever exist in all of existence. You're already there, and the game just says, okay, go be you. And that, like, starting from that position of being empowered is really refreshing, and it's really cool to just be like, yeah, it's almost like a hidden layer of positivity and like sort of ego boost that I wasn't expecting out of Doom,
So it's the best self-esteem book you've ever read.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're the man, just do it.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to.
And it's really goddamn intense.
Yes,
like really intense. And the funniest part is like in most first-person shooters, shift is the run button. Not in Doom. Shift is the walk button.
Yes, your sprint. It's the default setting for the movement is sprinting, and literally shift is to slow you down if you want to like look at stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Plus the soundtrack is fantastic. Like Marcus was just trying to imitate. I'm loving that game. Now that I'm starting to like feel a little bit better, I'll finish it for sure, and then get into Doom Eternal. But I know Marcus wants to. So besides Call of Duty, Doom, I've been playing a little bit of Battlefront 2. Yes, Battlefront 2, the Star Wars video game. But I know Marcus wants to talk about it later because he's been playing it too, and we've had a ton of fun playing it together. So, speaking of Marcus, how's it going, and what have you been up to the past couple weeks?
So, Easter.
Oh, right.
I want you guys to close your eyes and picture the perfect Easter.
Okay.
Kids wake up, they get their Easter baskets, everybody is hopped up on chocolate, everybody's happy. I cook a wonderful supper, ham, twice baked potatoes, we had asparagus, broccoli, and one of the kids loves corn. So we had corn, and it was perfect. I got a cake from the local bakery because the kids and my wife love cake. So it said Happy Easter on it. Anyways, so after my daughter says, can I go outside and play? Yeah, go. Yard's fenced in. Go play on your swing set. Don't run. Okay. What does she do? Sprints. Full steam ahead. Trips. Face plants into the swing set stairs. Kablamo. Bends her front tooth, in towards her inside of her mouth.
Oh, boy.
At like a 45-degree angle. Blood everywhere. She's crying. She's 4, so she's doesn't know what to do. My wife is freaking out. What do? I say, come here. I take my thumb, move the tooth forward, I jam it up, and she's screaming at me, but now it's straight. And she ends up getting a hold of the dentist, and the dentist basically said to do the same thing. And so part of our Easter was fantastic. The other part was actually
chaos.
Well, it was chaos, but it ended up turning out okay because because of COVID and my job, I've been working out of control, trying to earn as much money as I possibly can, because a lot of things got messed up because of my work with COVID. But anyway, so from like 2:00 in the afternoon on, I just got to hang out on the couch and watch Star Wars Lego shows with Julia. And it was fantastic because my wife would go out for a walk with our son and she'd be like, "Do you want to go for the walk?" I'm like, "No, I'll watch Star Wars. See ya, have fun." So like, ended up falling asleep on the couch for a little while. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Poor Julia that she got damaged, but a win for me because I got to relax.
Right.
I was gonna say, did you really love it, or did it feel really weird to sit and relax on the couch during the day for once?
Well, I don't survive well. So, and Nick will attest to this. As soon as I sit still, so most of the time Nick and I will record in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
This whole not looking at him right now, I keep looking at his corner of the table, and he's not there. It's kind of really weird for me.
Right. Yeah.
Because we have like our cues for stuff. Like when I'm rambling, he'll give me the old, "All right, dude, let's go. Move along."
I'll give him the
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Come on, Marcus, hurry up. And anyway, so he's not here. But afterwards, if we edit the show right after, I'll sit on the couch. Nick, what do I get? 3 minutes?
Yeah.
If Nick doesn't talk to me for 3 minutes, I'm sound asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to drink anything. I could have just had a coffee, nothing. I'm out. So it was weird because when I get to sit on the couch, usually I just fall asleep and I'll wake up a couple minutes later like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And so in gaming stuff, so we're going to talk about Battlefront 2 after, but I've been playing it a lot. And I'm going to explain why I've been playing it a lot later, but man, is it great. Anyway, last week we did SWTOR Mega.
The where in the world is no, it was
no, it was the Amazing Race.
Yes, wrong show.
Which I'll mention it later, but I just want to give a shout out to Corley because Corley hosted it. He set it all up. Like he had us officers come in and do a little bit of like a test run of it. It was fantastic. Above and beyond, it was great. In SWTOR, I've been doing ops as always. So Death Star Troopers, we've been banging our head against hard mode Revan for a while now. And it's, learning a really hard fight. So it's one thing when it's one thing when like one or two people have never beat the fight before because the other 5 people know the fight. Out of the entire 8-person team, only one person has cleared this fight. So we're literally learning this fight from the start with guide help. But even with guide help, you still have to understand what the hell you're doing to be able to execute it. So we've been, it's funny is because every time we die, I go, "It's a wipe." And, and we start over and bang our heads against the wall.
I'd imagine that's pretty frustrating for everybody to just sort of.
Well,
it's almost like a you don't know what you don't know type of thing.
Well, right. But here's the thing. If everybody puts the effort in, which they do, and watch the guides and read about the phases, we're going to be okay. But when everybody waits till the day of to, like, we get to the next phase of the fight, and then they're like, that's the first time they're seeing it, and we die because of it, well, that's not helping the team. And that is the difference between beating the fight in 2 months versus 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
And, and when I've never been on a true progression team where a team, like 7 people have never cleared it before, 7 of the 8.
Mm-hmm.
It is daunting, man. It is like, it does wear on your soul. And as soon as you make progress, you like take 4 steps forward and then you're taking 10 steps back for the rest of the night. It's a really tough fight. Anyway, damage control, the team, my Saturday night team that were progging hard mode Gods from the Machine, we got Avele and Esne, the sisters, down to one of the bosses to 5%.
Nice.
And we all died. We were so close. Like, I could taste the victory, and we died. And what I like about that team is I'm the worst player on that team.
Yeah.
And I like that because it makes me want to be better. If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably the worst player on Death Star Troopers too, but that's my team. So, like, reality, I can't get kicked off that team. And I do like the team because they are all really good players, and these these guys have all been on Prague teams before, so it's like, okay, we spent a night wiping. Who cares? We'll be back next week. Where me, I'm like, oh my god, I just want to win. Let's get on to the next boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you finally get that boss kill, it's super satisfying. Second thing to do with raiding, I really do love tanking. I really, really do. And I'm really starting to get the hang of it. And for that, I really enjoy it. But other than that, in SWTOR news, we got a pretty important letter that was dropped onto us on the forums that I'm going to have Nick read word for word verbatim, because maybe some of you that are listening to the show did not hear this. And this completely affects the game that all three of us love and play.
Mm-hmm.
For the essentially, this is going to affect the rest of the year's development.
Yeah.
Nick?
So the letter reads, "Hi folks, I hope everything is doing I hope everyone is doing well, taking care of themselves, and keeping up the social distancing. As Keith alluded to a few weeks back, EA, BioWare, and the SWTOR team have shifted to working entirely from home to ensure the ongoing safety of our team members. Like us, the voiceover studios where we record dialogue around the world are also eager to ensure the health and safety of all their staff and editors, and have postponed all in-studio recording activities. As you know, our cast is pretty huge. Some actors do have in-home recording capability, but unfortunately, many others understandably do not. In order to adapt to these changes and challenges, we've made some updates to our upcoming releases. I've put together a rundown of the changes as we see them currently below. Naturally, this is very much subject to change as circumstances unfold, and we will keep you all updated in the coming weeks if any additional changes become necessary. So it says update 6.1.1 is moving out 1 week to Tuesday, April 21st. So 6.1.1 will include a number of improvements to conquest, adjustments to class balance, and end game items, and other quality of life improvements. We will also begin a double XP event with this update, running from April 21st until May 19th. However, we have made the difficult decision to delay master mode of the Ducks in Operation out of this update. Based on our testing and PTS, we believe that holding this portion of the content back for further iteration and improvement will lead to a higher quality experience for all of you to enjoy later in the update 6.1.2, which he gets into here. Update 6.2, currently targeting June, has become update 6.1.2. So update 6.1.2 will introduce a unique new in-game event that will join the weekly rotating schedule alongside Dantooine, Gree, etc. This event will be themed around the ultimate swoop biker rally spread across multiple planets in the SWTOR galaxy. We'll share more info about the insane obstacle courses these Daredevil riders are setting up very soon, and as mentioned above, Master Mode of the Ducks in Operation will also be released within this update, meaning 6.1.2. In addition to more quality of life updates, we're also targeting some fun additions to Narsha Nightlife, which will return this summer. So why is this update changing numbers? Because it was originally intended to include the conclusion of the Kira/Scourge/Satele storyline introduced in Onslaught's finale. Unfortunately, the dialogue has not yet been recorded for that storyline, so we will have to wait to release it until recording operations are back in full swing. Rest assured, getting that story out is our top priority, so as soon as we get it back on the schedule, we will. Based on our current information, our very tentative release target for that is late summer/early fall, and that patch will become the new 6.2. We really appreciate everyone's patience as we work through these challenging times and look forward to sharing more concrete details as we get them. Stay safe out there. Charles Boyd, Creative Director. So
I hate COVID. Fuck this virus.
You didn't even
So
have
basically, I mean, just like the whole world is just shut down because of it. And I mean, I can't be mad about it. It's the whole world. It's not like a snowstorm hit New York City and New England and we're in 3 feet of snow and like we're shut down for a week. It's the whole world is affected by this.
Right.
And, you know, it stinks. I get it. But, you know, for all the people who are dying for some new story content, like every game is being delayed.
Right.
Every one. So it's shitty.
Most definitely. But at least they're, I don't know, upfront about it. This is kind of nice that they're giving you a decent timeline. Like, hey, things are getting pushed back because we can't record things. You know.
Right. Oh, understandably, I'm understanding
Yeah.
of it. I'm bummed, but there's nothing. It's happening everywhere. Amazon's New World MMO game, which it was going to get delayed anyways, but they're using it as the coronavirus. I think Final Fantasy 14, their big next update delayed because of coronavirus. I mean, there's a lot being delayed because of it, and I can't imagine that playing, working from home as a game developer is the same as doing it in the office.
Right. Yeah, definitely not.
And are their computers the same as the office computers?
The power of the machines they use at work is nothing like what they run at home on their own PCs.
Yeah. Unless they're like me.
That they own there, I'm sure that they've had to pay for, they don't have access to, or servers that they have access to.
Right.
Yeah, it makes it hard for them because they're thinking, well, I'm at home. What could I be doing? Maybe there's some stuff that they can work on or pre-plan for, but I'm sure they feel frustrated. Probably as much as they do.
Right. Well, I'm understanding. And, the content that I do in SWTOR is, operations, and I still haven't cleared them all. So I could play this game for years and still be able to just keep moving forward. But there's all the people that like eat the story up. I feel bad for those players because their content is being delayed for a long time, and rightfully so. In guild news, last Friday was
Mega,
our monthly
epic monthly epic guild activity.
It was I alluded to it earlier. It was a very special event. Corley worked on this thing for months. And it was based off the TV show The Amazing Race. So basically, we all met at our stronghold. There was a clue given. So the first clue, it was something like you know this character from another game, and he has his followers, and you have a choice to help them or deceive them. Who am I? And go there. And it was the Revenites who follow Revan. And we had to go to Drummond Koss. And then once you were there, you had to duel a companion. And once you beat that companion, you would get the next clue to the next event. One of them was you had to go to this bridge in Hoth, and Dent, friend of the show, he jumped off the bridge, and whoever jumped, and it was called the pancake contest, whoever landed closest to him won that part of the event. It was really funny to watch people just trying to dive off and land as close to him as possible. It was really fun, and the whole thing was planned to perfection. And hats off to the officer team, but mostly Corley, because you set this up, you did this, and it's pretty cool that Mega has now turned into an event that I started, but it's now Lucy kind of hosted an event with me, and now Corley's hosted an event with me. So it's been nice to get some help with it, and the events that they've been doing have been super fun and awesome. And I know Nick is going to have to pee, but I have one more thing.
Oh yeah, no.
It's our contest update.
Woo!
Do you remember this contest? So I've had a bunch of people message me with the code birds, and so we're going to run the contest. The contest is going to end on
Do you have this info?
April?
Yep.
It will end April 25th.
Okay.
So that our following show on the 30th, we will announce the winner.
Okay.
But everybody knows all the like now they know April 25th the contest enters. So make sure you get your code phrases into me. But the most important thing is, Nick, Tell them what they're going to win.
So you can win literally any one item that you want on the cartel market. So anything you want. Anything except for packs, crates, or companion boosters. But any one item. So any crazy weapon you want. There's some cool ones. That's basically your best bang for your buck, I think. Is a cool weapon.
So Nick, if you won this contest, would you buy? What would you get? Would you get a weapon or
I already know.
armoring?
I already know.
Oh.
So I would.
What would you get?
I would get. I forgot what it's called, but it's that like old Sith Lord. It's like a sword almost. That's like gray, it's stone looking with like the red glowing on it.
Oh yeah. The Sith. I know what you're talking about, Britt. You know what it is?
I'd have to pop up in the cartel market, but that's what I would get. So I would get a wicked cool weapon. But any one item that you want can be yours. All you got to do is just to review. You got to go back, listen to our previous 3 episodes. In those episodes, we have a code phrase. There's 3 separate code phrases, 1 per episode. Then you message Marcus or I on
Twitter or on Discord.
Yep, Twitter or Discord. Tell us the 3 code phrases, and then you're entered into the contest. And you get if you win, you get any one item you want on the cartel market, no matter how much it costs, even if it's 4 million cartel coins.
And this is sponsored by BioWare. I've talked to Daniel Steed, and he's approved this awesome contest.
Yes.
But Britt, if you won this, what would you get?
Oh man, if you had asked me a week ago, I would have said the Mischief and Anarchy blasters for my Merc. But I actually had a friend who gifted me them for my birthday, which was the first.
Woo!
Yeah, so now I'm like, man, crates and packs, which of course is not a part of the contest, but that's
right.
Of course, where my mind goes is like, I don't know, let's make it a surprise.
Well, right. So I understand that. For me, if I won, I would find the one thing that sells
best on the
fairly easy and for a lot of credits on the cartel market.
Yeah.
Because if something sells for 200 million credits, there's a good chance that if I want to buy something on the cartel market, I can go buy it with the 200 million credits that I can get, plus still have some credits left over. That's personally what I would do.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure.
Do you mean the GTN?
What I would do?
Cartel market?
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's what I meant. The GTN. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose something, believe it or not, I would get that lightsaber that looks like Kylo Ren's, but instead of the unstable ends going out at 90 degrees, they're at like a 45-degree angle.
Oh, I know what you mean. That's sweet. Yeah.
Oh, I forget what it's called. Is it the Defiant? No, I don't know what it's called. So I actually won that. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and this is how awesome it is. So I was opening a hyper crate during Ops Night. We were waiting for somebody to get there, and Rack Evan was like, "Well, if you win that lightsaber, I want it." And I was like, "Listen, it's a platinum item. I'm not going to win it, but if I do, I'll give it to you." And he's like, "No way." And it was selling for like $40 on the on the cartel market. And sure as shit, I won it. So I gave it to Rack Evan. But now I see it and I'm like, man, that would look really good on my jug.
Yeah, and now that it's gone, you want to keep it.
Well, that's fine. I'm happy to give it to him. And he was super pumped. But I know I actually bought a lightsaber not too long ago. I think it's I don't know whose it is, but it's curved. And if anybody knows me, I'm obsessed with. So my favorite Star Wars character is R2-D2. But my second favorite character is Ventress from the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
A, she's a marauder. B, she's evil, but she's also good in a way too. And she has the best lightsabers ever. And she's a marauder. So she has all the best things going for her.
Right.
So if all this sounds fun to you, go to
AIE-guild.org. That's AIE-guild.org. Jump in our Discord and ask for a guild invite, whether or not you play Star Wars The Old Republic or any of the other games that we play. We'd love to have you. We're talking about AIE, everybody. Come hang out with us. Come play the games that we play.
Yeah, and something that I guess I should mention is they just opened up a new tab in Discord.
Ooh.
And it's Animal Crossing.
Ooh.
So many people are playing this game.
Yeah.
But I know Nick is doing the dance, so we'll be right back.
Geez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back.
Well, today we're going to talk about all the do's, the don't do's, and everything that is going on with the do's in video games. What I mean is there's so much happening right now. Let me put it in perspective. So many people are home right now playing video games. Steam last week had the highest concurrent volume of players online at one time at 23 million people. That's just Steam users. That's a lot of people on Steam at one time. Sorry, I had a seltzer burp going on. And what the other things that are happening, and these are points that we can touch on, you can't get a Nintendo Switch right now. Animal Crossing, other than buying it digitally, you can't get a hard copy right now. You know, I've been checking Best Buy every day, and it's always like a week away on Friday. So even if it's on a Monday, it's the following week on Friday that you can get it. Amazon, people are just selling the regular edition for like $95, and it's not even Prime shipping. I mean, and this proves the point that video games are helping people cope with quarantine. And we're here to keep it positive. The only negative thing I'm going to say is E3 got canceled. And
that is rough.
Rightfully so. Yeah, rightfully so. But for me, E3 was always like the pop-off point for all the new shit. Like, Nick, did you see E3? Dude, did you see the Cyberpunk trailer? Dude, did you see this? Dude, did you see that? And it's always been that like hype. Okay, the big release has got like, we found out more about X or Y. And hearing that got canceled this year, I understand why. But man, is it like a complete and total ass kick.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But having all these video games, people playing video games is still pretty positive, which is nice.
Well, it proves that people play video games because they enjoy it. And right now, it doesn't have to be a secret that you play video games. You know what I mean? Some people I know, they're like, I'm like, oh, do you game? And they're like, yeah, I have a PlayStation and I play NHL 20. And I'm like,
why are you?
Oh, you play? Yeah. Why are you whispering? Like you have a PlayStation? Okay. You and like 400 million other people, and you play NHL hockey. The graphics on that are unbelievable. And they perk up and they're like, why you play it? And I'm like, no, but I know about it.
I feel like
the game's beautiful.
Our generation was that last generation that really shamed nerds for being nerds. I feel like every generation since has kind of appreciated the value of fandoms, and it hasn't been as nerdy. Like, for example, growing up, if you listen to anything that we called it quote unquote techno growing up, you were considered a nerd. And then you know, like EDC, EDM comes around, and now it's standard. Like, that's what's on the radio, and everyone's like, yeah, awesome, we're all rave kids. And I was like, half of me is like, yeah, I want to be excited that it's mainstream, but then the other half of me is like, man,
you didn't earn it.
Like, yeah,
do you know
nerd when it wasn't cool,
right?
You know, like the video game thing, you had to be like, yeah, I play video games on the
Do you realize the warehouses that I went to in Brooklyn to listen to that music?
Right.
Do you realize how disgusting the limelight was on a Friday night at 3 a.m.?
I do.
Like, so yeah, so I completely understand what you're saying. But with that said, you can't get a Nintendo Switch right now.
So sad.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But it goes to show that parents are going bananas with their kids at home, and they're like, we got to get them something. I want a Nintendo Switch.
Right.
They're like, oh, perfect. I can just sit you in front of that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I'm telling him I really want that Switch. He's like, now's the time to get it. And it's the one time we can't.
Well, I'm sure if you hunt it out, but like on your standard sites, you can't get it.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I wish they would come out with like a Switch Pro that had like that would play at like 1080p 60 frames, or something better, maybe even like 100 hertz or 120 hertz. Because let me tell you, I love the Switch. I like the fact that I can bring it to work and on my lunch I can put the little kickstand out and I can have my Pro controller and I can play a couple races of Mario Kart or attempt to kill some things in Breath of the Wild but die, or or something else. Or if I want, I just plug it into that thing and play Mario Kart on my TV. It's the most innovative system ever. You know, you can say the Wii U, but if you remember the Wii U's tablet, that thing was ginormous and it weighed like 60 pounds. You know, it was hard to use as a handheld.
Right.
Versus the Switch, that's like perfect. The other thing that's amazing about the Switch is they're basically putting an entire game that is a giant download on our computers on an SD card.
Yeah, that's pretty
And they're still running great. Yeah.
Quality of life has definitely improved for gamers.
Handhelds. Yeah.
I mean, do you remember when we used to have to just run to do a bathroom break? You had to just put the controller down and look at everyone in the room and be like, if you touch that remote, I swear.
You're done.
Right?
Exactly.
Remember, I know where you sleep. And you had to run to the bathroom and run back before someone else could like mess with your game. There was no autosave. There was no, oh my God, like cards. You used to have to save it. If you were lucky enough to have a card or have space on the card, certain games you had to save to it. And now
the good old
like,
PlayStation.
you can do these small bites, like you're saying, on the Switch, where you can just do a round or play a game. It's not this huge process. You can just take this little amuse-bouche of video gaming here and there as you want it and go. And I think that's really cool.
What's sweet too is, speaking of those memory cards, I still have my Castlevania Symphony of the Night memory card and game from the PlayStation 1, and I will not get rid of it because like I have the castle upside down. I have one saved directly at Dracula. I have one saved right before it. I have one saved in the upside down library. You know what I mean? Because those are all like the pinnacle points of the game, and I can't get rid of it. And at the same time, you look at now, like the Xbox Series X, I know that all the PlayStation fans are going to hate me and they're like, Marcus, you hate PlayStation. No.
You do.
If you buy I just hate the controller. The controller is terrible.
Yeah.
But the Xbox Series X, what they're doing for you as a gamer this round blows the PlayStation away. You're going to be able to stop a game, hit the home button, no matter what you're doing, change games, and go play. So if you're doing a racing game, you can be racing, stop mid-race, like around a corner that you're drifting, hit the home button, start up Minecraft, play Minecraft for 10 minutes, stop it, go play Mortal Kombat, be halfway through a fight, and Nick is about to do a fatality on me in Mortal Kombat, and I go back to the racing game and I pick up right where I was driving. Like,
that's pretty awesome.
That's game changing. There's no more loading times, or you're not going to wait. It's like instant action.
Pop out.
Plus, well, there's none of that anymore. Because all the games are downloaded, so to the hard drives. And I know both systems are going to have the SSDs, which they should, but like the features on the Xbox are unbelievable. The last thing about the Xbox is they are accommodating us PC players. So if you play on a PC and you really want to play a console game, Xbox has their cloud service that is going to be available for all PC gamers. So any new Xbox Series X game, any one of them, will be available day one on the cloud service. So you can play it through the Microsoft Store, which is fantastic.
I agree. That is awesome.
But anyway, so I'm rambling about these consoles. I'm sorry. But it just proves that our time right now we're the normal. And as an example, a customer today, I was at their house. We're in the middle of their kitchen during this COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
The plumber got COVID. They've had countertops, but no sink for 13 weeks.
Wow.
No dishwasher, no refrigerator, no nothing for 13 weeks.
Oh my God.
Well, they're 70. So the initial quarantine, they told, we don't care. We'll make microwave dinners. Nobody is coming in our house. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And then we got the countertops installed, and then the plumber got sick. And then I called my backup plumber, and they're like, look, I'm not going into anybody's house right now. Unless it's an emergency, sorry, they can wait. So they just got a functional sink. But today they were shopping on Wayfair, and I have a business account through them. And my password is the podcast. And I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but. And they started laughing, and they're like, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's my podcast. And they're like, what do you mean? And you have a podcast? And I was like, yeah. And they looked at me. They were like, what is wrong with you? And I just laughed to myself, and I'm like, man, it's just a different generation.
Yeah.
You know, they're losing their minds just staring at the news all day. And I'm like, man, if I didn't have kids to help with when I came home, I would just game all day. Like that would be my job.
Right. It's just video games
during this pandemic.
Trying every game that you wanted to try when you were younger, didn't have the chance to, or like revisiting a game that you got stuck on,
or just going back to my Steam library.
Oh my God.
Everything that you paid for, yeah, it's yours. It's sitting there.
Marcus probably has like 200 games in there, and he's probably played like 6.
It was when
homestead with what you like, what you prefer.
Yeah.
But I won't, because I want to play other things. So some positives that came out of this virus for me, and I've adapted Nick to this.
Yep.
Is Battlefront 2.
Yes.
So
one of the games that
if you
Marcus played, sure, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Nick and I shit on this game so hard back. I don't even know how many episodes. 2017. So back in the beginning, like we should find that podcast.
It's probably
because it was like
within the first 10 episodes that we did.
Had to be.
Yeah, we talked about
it had to be.
how bad like horrible microtransactions are, and this game, Battlefront 2, where it was what we were referring to primarily, saying like they ruined the game because of the microtransactions. Well, now fast forward 2 years later, they don't really have any. I couldn't figure out a way to do any microtransactions in the game, so they took them all out, and now you've just got this epic game sitting there.
It's awesome.
And credit to Marcus, because you're the one that found it first. Well, found it, but started playing and said, hey, man, I've been playing this a lot. You should get it. It's like $20.
It's so good. And I'm sorry, the first map. So I played it a little bit, and I was like, whatever. I played the story. And then I played the multiplayer. And the first, it's called, what's the mode called, Nick?
Not Conquest.
Supremacy.
Yeah,
Supremacy. So you get like heroes, you get some like vehicles, but nothing crazy. And it's like a 40-minute match where you like are on the ground, and then you go up to the ship, and you have to take the ship. And if you don't win the ship, then you get sent back down to the ground, and then you have to go back to the ship. And it's awesome. When I first landed, I got sent to Camino.
Yep.
Now, if you remember Camino from Attack of the Clones, it was very bright and shiny.
Yeah.
And a rainy planet. So I first landed in one of the hallways, and I was running through, and I was mesmerized by this game.
By how good it looked?
Mesmerized. No, incredible. The water is hitting the glass, and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in the movie. And I'm running around going, oh my God. Oh my God. And then I got killed. And I was like, okay, maybe I got to focus more on playing than like
looking at everything.
Oogling all the sites. So in the process of this, I start telling Nick about it. And Nick is under quarantine, and he's like, I don't feel good. I'll look at it when I feel a little better. I'm like, all right, well, you got to look at this.
I sounded a little better than that, you dick.
No, you didn't, dude. No.
Some days
there were times. So when Julia, my daughter, would FaceTime Nick every day, mind you, every day, Nick would have that face of, and you could see he was putting in 110% effort to be happy to talk to Julia.
Yeah.
Not happy to like talk to her, but like show her that he's okay, because she was so worried about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm trying to get him to play Battlefront. He's like, dude, I can't play. I can't play. And then the other night we played for like 2 hours, and it's so good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like how, so obviously you get all the nostalgia stuff from just from seeing everything that are in the movies that we love, of course. But there's also, and if you can get one of the heroes, you get to play as one of the characters. But even the amongst sort of just the grunts, if you will, like the four different classes, and then there's like little upgraded versions of them as well. It's cool.
Yeah, it's like assault, heavy, sniper, and then what's the other one?
There's one other class, but
yeah, but
officer or something. But and then outside of those, so those are the base classes. And then you can sort of purchase like upgraded versions. Like you can be this commando droid that's got a vibro sword and is way faster, and you can be like a shock trooper for the clones or something like that.
Or super battle droid,
or a super battle
has
droid.
no neck,
right? And the wrist rockets that you got to watch out for. But there's lots of options that I really appreciated. So you're not just locked into your the four classes. You can really change things up on the fly as you want, besides just like changing the weapon that you're using or the typical things, I guess. It's like there's a lot happening that you can change, which I really appreciate.
Britt, we have to get you to play this game with us. You need to get an Origin account, but you need to play this game with us.
Yeah, I think
I'm sitting here shaking my head listening to this because I did the Battlefront. I bought into that hype, and we bought the console with it and everything. And
me too.
Maybe played it for the first week, and I was so disappointed. I'm sitting here shaking my head because I'm like, I couldn't even tell you the classes because I don't remember. Like, I didn't get that far.
Us too.
Saying, "Oh my God, look at this! It is a beautiful game." I'm not going to try to take that away, but once we got into it, like there wasn't anything that really captured my attention to be like, I have to sit down and play some more Battlefront. Yeah, they lost me. It's almost just like the hype was greater than the
quality of game. Well, everybody's so worried about EA screwing everybody over. And then, I feel like microtransactions in PC and console games have slowed down a little bit, where they're full rampant in mobile games. Mm-hmm. But and it's like acceptable in mobile games, but in console and PC games, it's not.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird, it's kind of a weird trade-off, maybe because mobile game players are kids or like people that don't play console games. So, I'll joke with people and I'm like, oh, do you play video games? No. I'm like, oh, do you play any games on my phone? Oh, dude, I play World of Kings and I play Candy Crush. I'm like, dude, that's a game. It's like, dude, it's so expensive though. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, dude, last month I spent like $100 on the game. I'm like, dude, you're playing you play video games,
right?
But anyway,
yeah.
Weird trade-off. But we pay the game up front, whereas they pay for it continually throughout their gameplay. But when Pokemon Go was huge here in the city, I mean, everyone walks here, so everyone would complain, "Oh my God, my husband spent this much on Pokemon Go this month. Can you believe that?" And I was like, "Yes, I can," because I also play.
Right.
Right. But yeah, no, I think that's kind of what they're targeting or who they're marketing to, right? Or kids, because they have their iPads, they have access to what was it back in the day, the iTouch, right, came out after
the iPod Touch. Yep.
And now they have their iPads, they have their iPads in school,
so Battlefront
phones, and they have
Nick and I shit all over this game. Like we didn't even give it a chance.
No, I never played it. I played the first one, but not this. What's that?
Yeah.
Say that again, Britt.
Oh, you guys just cut out for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think Marcus just talked over you for a second. What was the last thing you just said?
Oh, I said that they're giving kids access to those microtransactions just because they're so minimal, but they're so frequent. That's
right.
How they make their money, as opposed to charging for a game up front. Like we go to GameStop, we buy our game, we pay the money up front that the kids will eventually, pay for throughout their gameplay.
Right. That I did get. Okay. Just making sure we got everything covered.
Yeah, that was it.
So, but with Battlefront 2 now, I got into it. I started playing it, and I only played in first-person view. I didn't even know you could go to third-person view until Nick and I were playing. He's like, dude, you're not in third-person view. And I was like, no, what do I need to do that? He's like, dude, you can see so much more. And I did it, and it was a game changer. Plus, I get to be my favorite stormtrooper, which is a scout trooper. If you don't know what a scout trooper is, that is the stormtrooper from Return of the Jedi, and they rode the speeder bikes on Endor in the woods.
They're also
Those are my
they're also in the Mandalorian.
perfect.
Pretty
Yep.
featured
Yeah.
pretty prominently. I think it's the finale.
Oh yeah.
Or the second to last
They were trying. Yeah, they were trying to shoot the cannon. They kept missing.
Yes.
And he's like, and pew pew pew, and they were like, "Oh, what's up, bro? Let me see the thing." Nope. And he punches Yoda baby, and I was like, "Dude."
Everyone stopped breathing for 10 seconds.
Yeah. And if you're like, "Dude, you punch Yoda baby again, I'm gonna kick your ass." You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right.
So, but I get to be that trooper when I'm a clone, and that's my outfit, and it's all camoed up. It's so awesome. And then like, when Nick and I were the droids, we would we'd be talking to each other, and Nick would always be going, "Roger, Roger." Nick, go over there. Roger, Roger. And I don't know.
We were like role playing as the droids. It was great.
It was perfect. But this is what I mean. And
I feel
I'm
like,
such a Star Wars.
Watch out for General Kenobi, who's on point B.
Roger, Roger, yeah, Roger, Roger.
It was a blast.
Like, if you guys had a similar experience that I had to Battlefront 1, like or the original Battlefront rather, what made you guys want to pick up the second one?
I got it for $12.
Yeah, it was cheap, and Marcus was playing.
Okay, there you go. That's
Oh wait, so are we talking about the original Battlefronts from PlayStation 2, or are we talking about the Battlefronts from now?
the Battlefront from now. Like
Okay, yeah. So I played the first Battlefront a lot, and I was excited for Battlefront 2 because, you know, I really like Star Wars.
Yeah, I thought the first Battlefront was fairly limited. Like it wasn't really worth the $60, but it was fine. Like,
Right.
I enjoyed playing it, and multiplayer was fine and all that, and there weren't that many microtransactions or anything, so I was cool with that. And then when 2 was coming out, then I was really pumped. Aside from, and I thought the microtransactions ruined it, so I never picked it up until recently. Of course, that's pretty much where I stood with them.
Right, and now it's so good. I mean, Nick, who was the guy that was throwing that like poison grenade at us?
It was like the Bosk bounty hunter.
Yes. He was annihilating us. He would throw this like poison grenade, and it would be in like the perfect hallway, and it would fumigate the whole room. So like you had to go through the hallway.
Yeah, but you had to.
He was killing everybody.
I think the guy.
You had to go through.
For reference, I think the most kills Marcus and I got were probably in the low 30s. I don't know, call it like 32 or something. But this guy in that same game had like 250 kills playing as a
it was crazy. Mind you, the matches last 40 minutes, so you die a lot and you kill a lot.
Yeah,
even if you're like the worst player in the world, you're still going to get kills.
Right.
And it's the beauty of it. Oh my god, it's unbelievable.
I think basically, to sum it up, the really, really good looking graphics coupled with being able to play as your favorite characters and like put yourself in the movies, essentially, coupled with it being cheap now and microtransaction free, really let Marcus and I have some seriously positive experiences with a game that's like 2 years old now. And it was really refreshing during this, time of a lot of negativity in the news and things. It was nice to have like this window of positivity with this game that we had written off before,
You think they dropped that price or something because Fallen Order was out?
Oh, probably.
Well, the game came out Battlefront 2 came out in 2017. I mean, so it's not a new game.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, I mean, because I like it, I started listening to one of the Battlefront podcasts, and just to like maybe hear a little more information about the game. But I'm too late to that party. They're not really talking gameplay too much. They're basically talking about the next thing. And it was interesting to hear them talk about the next Battlefront. And one of them is saying Battlefront 3 is going to be like Battlefront 2, just better. And then the other one had a crazy idea that the next Battlefront is going to be a Destiny clone MMO, where, you're going to be a trooper or whatever. And that's how the gameplay is going to be, and that's the next big Star Wars online video game.
That would be really
Um,
interesting. I just really doubt that there's going to be 2 EA Star Wars based MMOs
Well, it's
existing at the same time, you know?
well the online it's in development right now. Whatever the next Star Wars online game is happening, it's in development because was it 2 years ago? We definitely were doing the podcast at that point. EA posted a job for a Star Wars IP lead producer, and this was dating back 2 years, so it's definitely in the works.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying SWTOR isn't going to be around for a long time, but you know, the engine's old, and you know, they're going to want to put a new IP out, especially with all the new stuff, the High Republic coming and stuff.
Yeah, I don't imagine them wanting to not have 2 Star Wars EA MMOs when one of them is Star Wars: The Old Republic, because I feel like they're
Right.
not. There's the universes are so different that if they had 2 separate games out, I don't think they would compete with each other necessarily.
I don't know about
Well,
that.
sorry, I should say they might not care if it competes with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
Sure.
like if they pull SWTOR players off of SWTOR and onto the new thing, they might not really care too much. You know?
It'd be
Right.
I mean, are you sure that job posting wasn't actually? I think it was a couple years before that. But do you remember that Darth Maul game that they like kind of put it out that they might do a Darth Maul game, and then there was I don't even think it was gameplay. I think they were just like stills and some character shots, and then they were like just kidding. And every couple years,
I thought that was go ahead.
people kind of bring it back up, and they're like, maybe that's what they're resurrecting. Like maybe that would be.
Well, I do know for a fact that. Do you remember a few years ago there was a guy that was remaking Knights of the Old Republic,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like his pet project? You guys remember that?
Yeah, I think he was combining 1 and 2 or something like that, right?
No. He was remaking 1, and he got gameplay from the first planet. Once you get off the ship, I forget the name of it. Was it Terrace? It might have been Terrace. I don't remember, but it looked incredible. Well, EA and Disney shut that game down,
Oh yeah.
but they hired that guy.
Okay.
So I
Interesting.
think like so there's definitely something going on. I personally believe that they should come out with a Knights of the Old Republic remastered. Why not? Every other game has been remastered.
Yeah,
Why not remaster that game?
it's well loved.
Yes, exactly. And you would, at a $20 price point, everybody would rebuy it.
Yeah.
And newer players would buy it too. The other thing in tech graphics news, as we alluded to earlier about Minecraft and what a game it is, they just installed ray tracing into Minecraft. So if you have a ray tracing or an RTX video card for the computer, it's going to completely change Minecraft.
Yay. I'm so
Woo.
excited. I'm so excited, you guys.
Yeah, I am going to get a card that has ray tracing. I'm gonna hang up my Titan and get the new Titan when it comes out in September, hopefully. And
Oof,
just
that's a pretty penny.
I don't care. I buy a Titan because the card lasts forever. You know, my card still dominates now. It still beats all the new cards, and it's 3 years old. And it's an investment, but what else am I going to spend my money on? Anyway, this Minecraft it looks like a new game. Would you agree to that, Brett?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like it's still blocky and goofy and all that stuff, but it has depth now. I feel like the game is going to be so much easier to play.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why a bunch of people, would do those resource packs and add a bunch of shaders on there and adjust and alter them, was to make it more dynamic and more interesting, because not a lot about the game has changed. Like, yeah, they do their updates and they add blocks here and there. Like we just did a server reset on our server because we're getting the Nether update soon as well. But to me, that just means like you have a lot of potential to move forward with that game, as simple as it is. And I like to pace myself with my gaming. I'm not the person who likes to power through new content in the first 2 weeks that it's out. I just don't have the time for that. I don't have the energy for that. But a lot of those resource packs are just, I mean, with a lot of other games as well, they came from really shady sites with adware, malware. And it was like you watch other people stream with these really cool resource packs and be like, wow, the water looks amazing. What are you playing with? And they'd, post a link to it or whatever. And I don't know, I had one really bad experience downloading one of these resource packs. And I was just like, why doesn't Minecraft just do this? And I think a few weeks later, someone had mentioned the ray tracing. And I was like, there you go. They
Yeah,
know what the
it's
people want. I
well,
can't wait to get it.
well, how do you make it okay? How do you make a game last for years to come? You upgrade it. And that's exactly what they're doing. They just keep upgrading the game and it makes it better. Now, I've only ever played Minecraft on the start screen, click load world, and that's it. I've never done anything else. I've never gotten a mod for it or anything. So I'm going to call it, I can't say the word vanilla, but I've only played the updated level of Minecraft for like the normal base game.
Single player world? Have you ever played
Yes.
with other people?
Never.
Oh my gosh, you're missing out. You're missing out. It's so much.
Yeah, but I don't. Well, you'll have to tell me how to get on like your server, so I'll play it with you one night.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm on a friendly server. So even the kids
Well, I don't.
can join.
Yeah,
That'd be great. I mean, there's a bunch of adults in there as well, but the kids are welcome on there to play. Also, it's just mainly a bunch of builders, and we try to help each other out as opposed to there's other places that are very PvP. There's no rules, kind of just everyone go after everyone else in their base, which can be fun if that's what you're after. But I like where I am because it's a little bit more peaceful and quiet, and we do have kids that come on and play. But playing with other people, like any other game, just makes it that much better that you can invite, friends, make new friends, hang out with old friends. Of course, we have our Discord channel that we hop into, but if you get the chance ever to watch on Twitch some of the the bigger Minecraft streamers, you'll see so many different packs, shader packs and resource packs that they add.
I've watched. There was a guy named Bacon Donut. Another one.
You want to talk about donuts? I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Yeah, I would. Well, before the show's over, I just need to discuss that.
Oh.
So and then there was another one, and I do watch it, but everything on the stream is always like testing this new mod, and I'm just like,
yeah.
But that's not
have it. Why
okay.
Watch it? Yeah.
I watch. Okay, so I support my friends in their streams, but I would prefer to play the game than watch somebody play it. Unless I can't play, I'll play myself. You know what I mean? I'll watch a stream if I can't play, but like as soon as I can play, I'm in. That's why I was saying we'll have to play it one night because I've never done anything but the base single player. Like when it loads up, it says create world, and that's all I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I'm lost in the whole crafting thing. I always mess that up, and it's actually comical to watch me play Minecraft because somebody already has their shovels, their axes, their torch, their crate, their inventory box, all this stuff in like 30 seconds. I've been playing 25 minutes and I don't even have an axe.
That's okay.
Because
some will just throw them at you. We'll just gift you stuff. It's cooperative.
All right.
That's the fun of it. Nick, do you have any history with Minecraft?
I have zero history with Minecraft, but I'm not. If you guys, get a day to play together, I'm not opposed to hopping in with you.
Well, and Nick is the type, Britt, that I will tell you that if Nick sits down and starts playing it, 4 hours will go by and he'll be like,
yeah.
What time is it?
It's one of those.
And I'll say,
totally.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just going to do one more
sure.
thing. And you look up and it's like the sun's down. You're like, oh my God, I had stuff I had to do today. We get lost in this game continually. I have me and one of my best friends who plays with me. We play together. We touch base at least once a day just to say, hey, it's that like what you're saying on Twitch, I don't necessarily sit and actively watch people play. I'm much more there for the community and to hang out with people and to chat, and to do that back and forth. It's like, for me, it's like golf. I don't want to sit there and watch golf, but if you say, hey, let's go to the driving range, I'm absolutely down. I'll go play. But it's not something I want to sit and necessarily watch myself. I'd much rather play myself. So having your friends like in there with you just makes it that much better. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
With me.
Okay. Sounds great. Hey, Britt, tell us and everybody how people can find you.
You guys can find me on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Sith Lord _Britt, BRITT. And on Twitter at Britt Sith Lord. They would not give me Sith Lord Britt. I don't know why Twitter, but there I am. Sith Britt Lord. You can follow me there and get all of the updates for my stream.
Well, awesome.
Fantastic.
And thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And if you're in New York City, you need to get a hold of Britt, because I had a donut and I wasn't really eager for this donut. Like, I like pumpkin. This donut was the most fantastic thing I've ever eaten in my life. You know, she was like, Kogus was like, yum, 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 like Cookie Monster with the donut, and there was sugar all over his face, but he didn't care. He's like, this donut is amazing. But, like, and I was like, Marcus, do you want a donut? No, I don't want a donut. It's pumpkin. Well, I really like pumpkin. And then I bit into this thing. I don't know what they did to that donut, but it is the single greatest thing I've ever eaten.
Don't ask, just eat it.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the truth. And when we go back to the cantina, I wonder if there's going to be a cantina this year.
Who knows, man? I'm still planning my cosplay as if there is going to be. I'm still making our costumes, and I'm planning for it. Like, in my head, I kind of know that's a possibility that we might not have a cantina, but I'm going through the motions as if it's going to be there. So I will plan on having donuts ready to go for you guys.
Oh yeah, and this time, hopefully, and hopefully we can come down a little early on Friday, so we can get the dopest hotel room in the world, and then just you guys can come up.
Yeah, and I won't get any chocolate donuts.
Well, you can get chocolate donuts, just not for me. That's all.
I just don't let Nick's pumpkin donut touch the chocolate donut. You guys, for those of you who know me, you guys know that I'm a retired paramedic, and I take things like allergic reactions pretty seriously. So I was not offended at all when Nick was like, I'm allergic to chocolate. And then he was like, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. And I was like, I could have killed you. It's okay to tell me that you can't have a donut. It's like my feelings are hurt versus you having an anaphylactic reaction. It's okay, Nick. Like, what a nice guy. He didn't want to hurt my feelings to the point that he was like, we're just going to keep this on the DL. But I was giving you chocolate-free donuts because my obsession with baked goods, it's unreal. If you guys like food talk, if you guys like to talk about games and foods, come visit me on my Twitch channel. We'll talk about food for the whole night. It's kind of, it's almost like my way of, well, if I'm going to be spending the calories on something unhealthy, I'm going to spend it on the best of the best. It's not going to be like, sorry guys, it's not going to be Dunkin' Donuts. It's going to be the best freaking donut you've had in your life. So if you guys ever need...
It was the best donut I had in my life.
There you go. I'm your guy. Come talk to me about some New York City food and I'll tell you guys where to go.
Sweet. And just for the record, Britt, you take his him being allergic to chocolate seriously. I try to feed him chocolate as much as I possibly can. If there's a cookie and you can't see the chocolate, I tell him there's no chocolate in it. Here you go, Nick. Eat this. And, he's learned my game by now.
I trust nothing Marcus hands me.
Okay, I'm sure he's learned his lesson to never trust.
Never.
No one. Purchase my own food.
Right, exactly.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of
Working Class Nerds.